Hi, this is Yoshio, and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings, Requiem for Crimson Scales and Silent Waters. So we're pretty deep into Nixondra's mod now, so in the last part we hung out with Remy. Bit of a Remy episode, we told him everything about his half-daughter, and yeah, it went okay. We had some ice cream and everything was fine. So now it's time for another hangout. Let's go with Lorem this time. Hey Lorem, how are you doing? Oh, doorbell. Hello? There you are. Hey, Lorem. Hey. So where are we going? You mentioned something about treasure hunting, but don't tell me we're actually trying to unearth some ancient human artifacts. Don't worry, it's going to be fun. I'm just going to hope for the best. I'm not sure who came up with it, but someone gave this kit to me as a present a few months ago. He showed me the map. It was a piece of paper that had obviously been treated to look much older than it really was. Yeah, dip it in the tea stains and burn the edges. We've all done it. Okay, sounds like fun. I'm glad you agree. I'm not sure if I can be of much assistance though. I don't exactly know much about the area. But you're big and strong. Or at least you're bigger and stronger than I am. You can do the digging. Great. Besides, I've wanted to do this for a while now, and Ibsen's always busy, so I figured this would be as good a time as any. Do we need to bring a shovel, or do you expect me to dig with my bare hands? Well, the instructions say we only need this map and a pen. Okay. Kore wa pen desu. Okay, we got a pen. Great, we're all set. So, where are we going? If this is the facility and the place indicated is the school, or rather somewhere between the school and the administrative building, let's go. So I think this is fairly similar to what we did on Lorem's original date back in the original game. I think things are really going to take more of a turn once Ibsen starts showing up more. Here we are. X on the map is right between these two buildings, so it must be around here somewhere. Back to school, huh? Not quite yet. Everyone's on summer break right now. Which is a good thing, because we really wouldn't want you to get swarmed by all the children. They go crazy if they saw you. How does school work here anyway? You talking about this one, or schools in general? In general, I'd like to know more about how your school system works as a whole. I see you won't let a learning opportunity go by though. I'm just doing my job. You should start looking for that treasure then. Sure. While I looked for hints as to the treasure's whereabouts, Lorem started talking. Right, we do have quite the education system. Different schools and districts run on their own, so we're looking at details they can vary a lot. However, there are a few things that are true no matter which region you're in. Compulsory education lasts for about 10 years, and there are lots of options for schools and school systems. Choice is an important factor here. We recognise that there isn't one system that works best for everyone, so there are many options depending on what path you want to take. That doesn't sound too different from what it used to be like in my world, but nowadays things are a bit more chaotic. Practical skills are valued most in our city, and you aren't really given a choice to do anything else. Sure, people can learn other things on their own, but it's not as if school's mandatory anymore. People just do whatever they feel like. Did you grow up like that too? No, I still got to experience our old system, college included. What was your favourite subject? Math, art, or physical education? So it's got to be art. Really, me too. I always like trying out different mediums. I tried sculpting again recently. What for? Art doesn't need a justification. But anyway, it helped me visualise what my characters in my game should look like. You can't do that with a computer. Sure, but working with a physical medium makes things easier for me. Instead of working with an interface, there's only my hands and a lump of clay. No technological gadgets required. I see. Did you find anything yet though? I sure haven't. No. I feel like we must be missing something. Maybe, but the map clearly marked this place. You can see it for yourself. Yeah, the X definitely points to this alley. Then it must be here somewhere. I mean, there's an X right on this wall. Maybe it's the wall. Okay, so yeah, examine the walls. Why not? What makes you think that? We're clearly missing something here, so maybe this is some kind of hint that we've been overlooking. Something that wouldn't be obvious to anybody else who came through here. I have no idea what you're talking about. These walls don't really look special to me. My gaze slowly went along the walls, trying to find something, anything that could have a hidden meaning. Hey, look at that. What do you mean? That kinda looks like an X on the wall, don't you think? That's what I said. I guess. Maybe it's here. Look, there. Lorem crouched down and stuck his hand in an indentation that ran along the wall near the ground. Aha! What is it? He pulled out a cylindrical, shiny object and held it up to me. It looks like some sort of capsule. Maybe there's something inside. That's gonna be a pretty small treasure. He screwed it open and held the two halves of the cylindrical object in his hands. To our surprise, it didn't have any empty space on the inside. Nothing could be hidden within. Instead, the inside of the two halves were engraved. Okay, what does it say? 2J. That's it. Yep, it's also on the other half. It might be coordinates. The grid on the map had numbers and letters like that. Which means 2J would be here. Right in the middle of a forest. Let's go. No doubts in our mind that this is a good idea. Okay. So let's go have a look. We know it's a problem, and we know that Lorem is at risk. So if anything goes down, we have to go to the rescue. Finding our spot might be a bit more difficult from here on out. Why is that? We don't really have buildings and addresses as references anymore. Here we only have a spot in the middle of the forest. Don't worry, I have an excellent sense of navigation. Let's hope we find it before it gets too dark though, or things might become a lot more complicated. I'd rather not get lost here. You won't have to worry about anything. If there are any predators in the area, they'll see me as a better target than you. Don't tell me there are predators in these woods. Not really. There might be a stray or two, but that should be it. These woods are considered to be very safe. Even if it's true, and worst comes to worst, you can just fly away. I guess it's true. You kinda sound like you don't like the woods though. As long as it's safe. Then you don't have anything to worry about here. I already told you, there shouldn't really be any predators in these parts. And it's not like these woods are haunted or anything. Haunted... Oh, that reminds me. What's that? Maybe you'll be interested in this. In our world, there's a forest that was notorious for many suicides that took place there. It was said to be haunted by angry spirits and lots of toxic content creators. That sounds horrible. But why are there so many suicides there? And why are the spirits so angry? Well, in Japanese folklore, people have a soul or spirit that they call a Requiem. Upon a person's death, the Requiem separates from the body and goes to a form of purgatory. After certain rites have been performed, the Requiem then goes on to join its ancestors and becomes a protector of the living family. However, under certain circumstances, like the rites not being performed correctly, or dying in a sudden or violent manner, the Requiem transforms into a Yurei instead. The Yurei can return to the physical world and haunts it until it's been laid to rest. So there you go, another myth for your collection. Well, I know where not to go for my next vacation now. I mean, it's just a myth, it's fine. Suppose. What do you think about stuff like that? Paranormal stuff? You know, until a few weeks ago, humans were still just a myth. And if you look at the portal, it's like something that came out of science fiction. Ibsen certainly seems interested in it. He is. He actually read up on some new theories about it. Like what? You remember him telling you about the different branches and how the barrier separates them, right? Yeah, and I told him my own theory of the portal allowing us to go to the other branches. Right, so since the barrier is made up of wormholes, and using the portal displaces them, it leaves gaps in the barrier. I distinctly remember him talking about something like that. Through these gaps, he thinks we can communicate with our alternate selves in the other timelines. Indeed, only he seemed wary of the concept. It all goes into the nature of existence itself. Who are you as a person? Do you really think you're just the Ushio from this branch? And what about the others from all the other timelines who have made other decisions? Would you consider yourself to be the same person as them? The only difference between you and the Ushio from another branch might be that you decided to skip breakfast this morning. Maybe you're all of them. Okay, so let's say I agree, but just to see where you're going with this, I'll ask, how is it possible? Like a seed from which many roots can sprout, or a tree and its branches, there may be a uniting factor that branched off into these different timelines, your fundamental nature. You might call it a soul or something similar, but the idea is that even though there are many different versions of you, there is an aspect that unites all of you. This vaguely reminds me of what Adine told me a week or so ago. She mentioned a higher self. An interesting comparison. If we use a similar model here, we could say that you're also made up of 3 distinct parts. In each timeline, you have a physical body, which is driven by its own base desires that it seeks to fulfill. All physical needs like hunger, thirst, and even breathing fall under this category. However, as a being with free will, you're also capable of making your own decisions, which includes being able to act contrary to what your body's telling you. This ability to think and make decisions on your own is your rational mind, the self. And lastly, there's the third part that I just talked about, the one that stands above all of you and unites you in some way. Let's call this your higher self that you mentioned. Through this higher self, you may be able to communicate with your alternate selves in some way. Usually the barrier would prevent this, but through the gaps, communication becomes a possibility. The more gaps there are, the easier this should be. And how do I go about doing that? I suppose that would be the job of the higher self, so I can't control it. These are all just theories. We wouldn't really know until it happened, and only then could we study it. Okay, so let's say if it was to happen, how would I know? If someone else's experience gets relayed through this connection to you, it could manifest in a number of ways. Maybe it could be something like deja vu, or a false memory, maybe even dreams. But the biggest difficulty would be to recognise that this phenomenon is happening in the first place. Like dreaming of things you swear never happened to you, but the dreams are so vivid you can't help but remember. You've had them too. Let's just say many people I know have had them recently. I see. Anyways, quantum mechanics are already complicated enough. Once you look at what lies beyond, it's just crazy territory. Okay, so what do you think about all of this? I think it might already be happening. Really? Just think about it. If the possibility of it ever happening is there, then it's more than likely it already has. I know Ibsen doubted the trustworthiness of people who this would have supposedly already happened to, but what do you think? I don't quite know myself, but the way you're wording these questions suggests that you might know something. Okay, so let's throw a theory out there and say I'm one of these people, like a time traveller, here for my own selfish purposes of messing with the order of things, just to see what would happen. I don't think I like where you're going with this. It could be something as simple as asking the right questions at the right time to the right people. Like for example, have you been having a strange recurring dream where you're drowning? Yes. Then let's keep going, and when next time I call your name out loudly, just stop in your tracks and listen to me, okay? Alright. Okay. We were just entering a clearing, and from my view, I could see some odd lines that had been drawn out on the ground. Oh yeah, it's the same forest that Vara's family took me for a picnic. I know it looked familiar. Hey, this is the spot. Why do you think so? Well, the giant X on the ground kinda gives it away. Lorem took flight with a few flaps of his wings. After looking at the scenery from above, he returned to me. You're right, it does look like a giant X. I guess it's time to get our hands dirty. Which might not be necessary. What do you mean? He went to the centre where the lines crossed and picked up an object that was lodged halfway into the ground. He returned to me once more, holding another capsule similar to the one we'd found near the school. Hold on, before you check the note, let me hazard a guess and say it's gonna be 6k? Lorem eyed me suspiciously as he begins screwing the capsule open. I can't believe this. It really is 6k. And it's leading us to an abandoned store on the other side of the forest. You... No way. You really are a time traveller after all, aren't you? Yup. And what you said about your selfish desires? What about them? Trying to save all my friends? Let's keep going, and I'll explain once we're there. Okay, let's show Lorem the drown spot, and hopefully he'll fully believe us by this point. This is the place indicated by the map, right? But before we do anything, let's look around on the outside, and under no circumstances should you go in. I begin looking around the premises, avoiding every suspicious-looking pothole hidden by the grass, as I know the place is flooded. I don't exactly want to fall into a hidden aquifer or something in this disgusting swamp. I picked up a large rectangular object from the ground that was hidden in the grass. It was a wooden sign. Warning, do not proceed past this point. The treasure hunt has concluded and there's nothing more to find. Danger ahead. Wow, not sure what to make of this. You want me to tell you what I've seen in the other timelines now? Hold on, just let me sit down. Bonk. There he went. Alright, shoot. So, initially, we wouldn't find this sign, and you would think this place being roped off is part of the game. If you look in from here, you can tell that the place is flooded and also rusting. Also damaged beyond repair and abandoned, with some of the shells being super flimsy. If I weren't there to help you search, one of them would fall on you, and you'd be, well, dead in minutes. Reported missing by Ibsen the next day, but nobody would ever find you. While I'm here, I help the thing off of you, and you find the treasure, which is just a bunch of expired pizza vouchers for Pantolis. Wow, that's kind of a lot to take in. I'm sorry for dragging you out here. It's not exactly your fault, you know. The fact that they still sold these kits and didn't broadcast a message of the hunt being cancelled says a lot about Pantolis as a business. I guess you're right. Still, all that stuff about time travelling and wanting to save your friends. With you being one of them, you know. Really? I mean, well, yeah. Come on, let's get back to town and grab some pizza. Yeah, we should probably head back before it gets too dark. We still have to go through the woods again. Okay, let's go. Yep. Lorem, we are friends! Another day down, and we're slowly nearing the end. Good thing I found the sign before Lorem went inside this time. I saved him a nasty memory. It was really interesting to see how Remy and Nadine got along with each other after all the drama too. I feel like I should take a shower. Stripping my clothes once inside the bathroom, I quickly set the temperature of the shower and enabled the water. Within seconds, the gushing water heats up, and after I take a bit of time to fine-tune, I step in and begin cleaning the dirt and grime off of myself that's been building up for a while now. I've been regularly taking baths while I was here, but tonight it somehow felt more relaxing than usual. Probably because the warmth reminded me of Anna. Once done, I used one of the towels provided to me to dry myself off and put on a fresh set of undergarments. And after that, it was time for bed. Nice spick and span, nice and clean, and it's another morning. Let's get these last two meetups out of the way. So who is next? Who's first? Okay, I'm reading the suggested itinerary that is suggested when playing this mod, so I think next is gonna be Anna. She's gonna do her testing on us, isn't she? So this will be fun. There you are. I was wondering when you'd show up. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to meet you. A glutton for punishment, huh, darling? Follow me, please. Going straight to it. So, I'm sure you've seen this place before in the other timelines. It's your testing room for research on live subjects. And I intend to use this facility to its fullest potential. I see. Let's start with this one. You know what? Just for humour's sake, why don't we act like I don't know what's going on? Fine by me. I cleared my throat and tried to do my best clueless impression. What's this? I can get a good look at your bone structure, muscle groups and organs with this. For the finer details, we'll need a different machine. Would you please lie down? Of course. Before we start, could I ask about your qualifications? You can trust me, I'm a doctor. And if you don't pry any further, I'll give you some special medicine for that aching heart of yours too next time we meet. Now, please try not to move too much while this is running. And how long's that? Good question. I suppose we'll see soon enough. And what do we do now? Just wait until it's over? What do you want me to do? Dance for you so you don't get bored? What does a dancing dragon look like anyway? Is that your scientific curiosity shining through? I can approve of that. You didn't answer my question. Well, I'm not going to show you. If you're that curious, you might find the answer in the seedier parts of town. You know, I never really checked where those parts might be. Oh, so there's still a lot you haven't seen yet. Okay, you can move again now. I was promised a kiss in public if I don't complain the whole time, so I hold my tongue. Any ETA on the test results? Don't hold your breath. It will be processing for some time, and the resulting data will be so vast that I'll probably end up studying it for days. Let's collect some samples for now. Where do I start? Wherever you like. Show me your claws. That's fingernails in my case. I suppose you're right. It'll be insulting to call those little things of yours claws. They'd probably break off before you could make any use of them in any practical way. Just one more way nature gave us the short end of the stick. So, which part would be fine to me to cut off? Take a piece from the white part. The rest you see is attached to the finger. Hold still then. Don't cut off too much. Don't worry, I only need enough to put it under the microscope. There, was that so bad? Do you want me to put a bandage on your little boo-boo? I indignantly huff with a fake angry tone. Whatever. Oh, I guess with the right training, I can make something out of you after all. And what now? Now it was to go right under the microscope. She got up and sat down at the table, intently, and I stared at a device while messing around with the nail clipping. Let's see. Putting your fingernail under a microscope is something we used to do in middle school. I've never done it. I think we used to get onions. That's what we used to look at under microscopes. Quiet please. Scientist at work here. Okay. This structure looks a lot like keratin. Because it is. Well, that's not much of a surprise really. Keratin is the substance that forms the claws on us dragons and most of the animals here. At least as far as mammals, reptiles and birds are concerned. So, why would you retain the structure, but not do anything useful with it is beyond me. It gets better. They grow continuously, so they need to be cut regularly. And what happens if you don't cut them? They just keep growing. How much can they keep growing? Pretty much indefinitely. Do they get thicker at least? What happens when they grow? They just get longer. What's the hassle? Anyway, what's next on the docket? How do you feel about needles? I don't mind. Go ahead. I can't stand them, but I'll bear it just for you. I don't mind. It's fine. Glad to hear it. You'll need to remove some layers for the next part. What are you gonna do? These are just some electrodes, and I'll also measure your brain activity with one of those helmets. Okay. You're shivering a bit. Is it cold? I'll manage. I know what I said about complaining, but don't try to act tough for my sake. If you're cold, just tell me. Okay, it is kind of cold in here. I suppose it might be for you, considering your lack of fur. Luckily, our scales are pretty good insulators. It actually goes both ways. We're pretty resilient to both heat and cold. Just let me know if I turn blue. You turn blue when you get cold? I'd like to see that. I'll go ahead and tell you that you shouldn't. When that happens, our body is already suffering irreversible damage. Yikes, it's a shame. There's also some abnormal cases that can make our skin change colour based on dietary issues. Oh, care to elaborate? Yeah, I remember there was this one guy who was documented for having blue skin because he drank colloidal silver. Why would anybody drink something like that? Silver has no nutritional value as far as I know. I don't know myself, just that he did, and it made his skin turn blue permanently. There's also the fact that if we have a diet that's full of carrots, the beta-carotene in it can cause our skin to turn orange. Fascinating. This is going to take a while. I want to have a good reference and see how your rates change. Your head shape's a little different from ours, but I think this one should do the trick. Perfect. Just as if it was made for you. I once more bite my tongue. I sat through these tests before. I should be sure these things don't have any adverse effects on me by now. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is this, a polygraph test? No, this is something completely different. I'm also measuring your brain activity here. Besides, I don't really care about the truthfulness of your answers. Rather, this is to establish your natural highs and lows of the values I'm measuring. Okay, go ahead. Let's start with some easy ones. Just say no to the following 3 questions. It doesn't matter if it's true or not, understood? Okay. No. You bastard. I set myself up for that one, didn't I? Questions start now. Are you human? Nope. I see. Is your favourite colour orange? No. Interesting. Have you been convicted of any crime? Nope. I see. Now, we'll get to the real part. You can answer the following questions however you like. Got it. Did it make you uneasy when you had to answer all of the test questions negatively? Not really. It was a controlled environment. Interesting. Have you taken a liking to anyone here since you arrived? Yes. I see. Did you have any ulterior motives when you came to our world? Or is it as simple as we're led to believe? Yep. I see. That's all for the test. You can take off the helmet and I'll take care of the electrodes. This kinda seemed like an interrogation. I wanted to keep it simple by asking questions that could get a reaction. I see. By the way, that last yes answer, was that perhaps related to me? You know it. It's kind of a shame, because in the end, a lack of additional subjects for this test means those results might not be very useful to us. We probably need a few more humans. Then why do them in the first place? The data's still useful, just not as useful as it could be. And besides, I did tell you I'd make the most of this room. Okay, so what's next? Not sure. Do I want to get close enough to examine muscura and orifices? Huh? I mean, there's only one person in this room who can answer this question. I guess. We quarantined Reza when he initially arrived here, but skipped the procedure with you. After examining Reza, we didn't think humans by themselves posed any danger. Nevertheless, who knows what kind of illnesses and bacteria you might be housing as an alternate host. I'm not taking that risk without a full protective suit. Does that mean your procedures are going to get a lot more invasive? No, I'm not in the mood to put the suit on and sterilise the whole room. To be fair, I haven't heard of anyone I've been in contact with getting any strange diseases this far. Sure, but then I'd have to ask you if any of those actually got close enough to you. As in, intimately close. Does making out with you count? Huh. For the sake of me not having to go poking around in you, let's say it doesn't. No orifice examinations then. For the next part, we'll actually have to go outside. That sounds like more fun. Depends. Here, strap this to your arm. What is it? It's a handheld monitor. I want to measure how you perform during exercise. Yes, ma'am. That's a good little human. Wow, that made you blush so hard. Shut up. Oh, I'll be sure to remember this for later. Let's go, shall we? Sure. Gonna go run round the block. And now? Take one lap around the block. I'll be waiting for you here. You can go as fast or as slow as you want, but try not to stop until you're back. I'll be monitoring you, so I'll know if you try to do anything fishy. I wouldn't do such a thing. Of course not. The honest to good Ushio would never do such a thing. There's no need to make fun of me for it. You're such a bleeding heart. Anyways, you can start whenever. The monitor should take care of the rest. Alright, let's go for a run. Trying for a consistent speed, I started with a light jog. Soon I was outside the gate and around the corner when I met with an unexpected surprise. Oh, hey, good to see you. Hey Remy, can't talk. I'm doing some tests for Anna, so I'll catch you later. Good luck. Unless you want to come with, you want to run as well? Afterward, I finished my lap around the block, arriving only a few minutes after I'd started. There you are, not bad. I need to catch my breath. Don't keel over on me yet. I just need a moment. It's at this moment that Anna presses her lips against mine for a kiss. There, did that help? Yes, ma'am. Good. Anyways, I've got your data, so we can head back inside if you're not too exhausted to walk. Of course. Looking at your data, it's kinda hard to evaluate it without having any reference points. How much exercise do you usually get? I mean, a bit. You sure get to ask me a lot of questions here. All part of the tests, really. Though, I think those were all the tests I needed to run on you for today. Does that mean we're done here? Oh, some of the data from the scanning machine's been processed. We can look at some pretty pictures of you. Okay, let's get them framed. Or better still, sell the prints. I could make bank doing that. Thanks for the idea. Wouldn't I deserve royalties from that? Sorry, no such written agreement exists. Alright, I totally forgot that you're a mammal. To encounter intelligent mammal of all things, well, reasonably intelligent at the very least. Why is that so surprising? You already have your myths about humans. Myths are myths. Having you here in the flesh is an entirely different thing. It's not like I could use our myths to get a scan like this one. It just seems so funny to me. Do you nurse your young from your teats as well? We do. Let me study your muscle groups for a bit. Do you want me to take my clothes off again? I mean the pictures... Oh, sorry. You can stay for a bit longer in case I have any questions. Cool. While I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to her table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups. As we talked, her eyes never left the screen. Some of these structures are very similar to those found in Damien's kind. I'm not surprised, his stature is similar enough. True, but shut up now, let me concentrate. I just sigh. Sorry, it's a force of habit. I know how stressful your work is. This is usually the part where you tell me about that friend of yours from back in school. Mind if we skip it in this timeline? I really don't feel like reliving these memories. Of course. Just from what we did here today, we might make a few breakthroughs in several areas. Really? You're a completely different, yet stable evolutionary line. There are some things that are similar in our bodies, and others that are completely different. Anything that's different and works can tell us something new about biology. All the various species have their own challenges and diseases. It will come in handy somewhere for sure. And you're doing all of that because of your pure unselfish heart? Not really, but if I do the brunt of the work, then I deserve to have my name on it. I guess so. Well, I think that's it for the day. You can go if you like. I wouldn't mind staying for a bit longer. I know you would, but as much as I'd love to have you around, I can't have you loitering here if I do anything serious. What if I were your assistant? Oh, that'd be funny, but I don't think I could employ you for too long. Why is that? With how lovey-dovey you are, we wouldn't ever get anything done. Come on, that's not true. Maybe once you're done being ambassador, you can prove it. Anyways, I've got a lot of work to do with this, so I'll probably be digging through it for quite a while. What about taking a bit of a rest? You know what? I'll see you tonight if you want me to come over. That should stop you from whining any further. That'd be great. Of course you'd say that. Well, I'll leave you to your work then. That's it. Gonna head on back home. Yeah, a nice couple of hangouts, so Lorem pretty chill, saved his life, and now he's a believer. And yeah, we're going to be hanging out with Bryce in the next episode. That's it for now. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.